anything, I would like to thank Mr. Chilato for giving me this platform, and thank you for giving me your time. So let's get started. As he has already introduced the topic that we're talking about, excuses are valid, but that's what we're going to talk about. So just the other time, I was watching a documentary about how different cultures around the world place penalty for theft. Now in Tanzania, it is common that we basically beat them to death, or we burn thieves alive, right? You have heard or you have seen, you know, in the news that they caught someone stealing and they burned them alive or they beat them to death. However, there's this particular Asian society in the southern of America, and what they would do, they would literally pull off a human being's limb out of their body. Like they would break the knees and pull them apart, and you'd be left there to bleed to death. And that would range literally from anything. Say you would steal a cow, or you would steal gold, or you would steal a piece of bread. That was the same punishment. No matter what you steal in that society, they would break your knees and literally pull them off your body. The most inhumane thing, right? And so there was a story attached to that particular documentary, that there was an 11-year-old boy, an orphan, who stole a piece of bread and just a half bottle of milk so that he could feed himself. And when he was presented to the leaders of the society, they did just that. They broke his knees and pulled them off of his body, and he was left there to bleed until death. Now, as I was watching that documentary, you know, in my head I was thinking, seriously? Half a bottle and a piece of bread, does that equate to having your knees pulled off from your body? Seems quite unfair, right? But then I was, you know, having quite an imaginative mind, I was trying to get into the shoes of those leaders. Like, what were the leaders of that society trying to communicate? He was an orphan boy. Probably he had no parents. There was no means for him to get food. And so probably the only way for him to get food was to do what? To steal. Seems fair, right? But what the leaders of that society were trying to say is that no story will justify theft. No any sort of explanation will justify theft. You can work. As long as you're alive, you can choose to work, but do not steal. Whoever you are, they did not care what your story was. If you stole something, then your knees were to be pulled off your body and you're to be left there to bleed to death. Period. No excuses whatsoever. Now, most of us, we tell ourselves stories, right? I am not in a relationship because all men are dogs, right? I cannot commit because all women are slay queens. Well, you are right. You are what? You are right, because I mean, come on, can a human being have a relationship with a dog? An intimate relationship with a dog? No. So that's the story that you're trying to tell yourself as into why you cannot be in a relationship. And once you do that, life will not grant you that handsome, tall man. And let me tell you something, another thing. If you decide to walk on with that story, girl, don't feel jealous for me or for all the other sisters that are going to have their own relationships and families. Because you decided to take whatever circumstance and experience you had and walk with it and say, this is my story, this is the reason why I do not want to get into a relationship. We all have excuses, and they are valid. Standing in front of you is not a robot. I'm a human being. I have had my share of experiences that I could have, hold them and say, this is the reason why I do not have this, this is the reason why I'm not happy, this is the reason why I'm not this. I have had my share of experiences. But no matter how valid my excuses were or still are, they really haven't gotten me anywhere, and they will not get you anywhere. Point blank. Now, does that seem harsh? Yes, but that's the reality of life. If you hold on to something and say, this is the reason, you are right, it is the reason. And you're not going to get anywhere unless you let go of that reason and decide to go ahead with life regardless of what's happening or what happened. Period. So, is that pain real? When you're broke and you don't know where you're going to get money, is that feeling real? Yes. It is valid? Yes. Can you hold that and say, you know what? I did not do my examinations because my mother passed away. Is that valid? So very much valid. Actually, it is so valid that if you can stand with it and stand in front of people and say, you know what? The reason why I couldn't do my examinations is because my mother passed away. People will sympathize with you. But life won't. Truth of the matter is, people will tell you, oh, you know what, we're so sorry. They will come sleep at your place for like 2 days, and then they will go on with their life. What you won't understand is that that examination will be taken regardless of your situation. Life goes on regardless of your what? Situation. And so people will always sympathize, and your excuse will make sense, and it will be such a good story. But while you're deciding to take that excuse as a reason to hold you down, there are people who are actually taking their excuses as a reason to drive them on. I did that because I saw so many people doing the same thing. We have heard about Leonardo da Vinci, right? Now, people have called him God. People have called him genius. The man who literally did everything from anatomy to physics to engineering to art to literally everything. But did you know that Leonardo da Vinci had a condition called dyslexia, which basically means he had difficulty reading. He even had difficulty writing. His documents were literally written from backwards forth. Like we write from left to right, and he would write from right to left. And people once looked at him as he's probably somewhat crazy, right? Have you heard of a woman called Helen Keller? She's late. Helen Keller was born just as a normal human being. At the age of 3, if not 4, she became blind. She got an infection, became blind, and became deaf. Yet she became the first human being to own a degree, a bachelor degree in arts. Deaf and blind. Now you can say, how can such a person learn? Well, we have all heard of Oprah. Sexually assaulted at the age of 8. Constantly told you're too black. And we cannot really use you because you're too fat. Look at your face, look at your nose. But now when she blinks money. Maya Angelou, sexually assaulted at the age of 8 by her mother's boyfriend. You know, when you think you have known life, you know, there are people who have actually faced life. Your mother's boyfriend raping you at the age of 8. But then what happened after that? She ended up writing books. She has more than 50 honorary degrees. More than 50 honorary degrees. She could say, because I was raped, I will never ever stand and speak anything about anything. I will never write. You know, I'm a victim. And so here I am. That was not the case. Who knows Malala Yousafzai, sorry. At the age of 15, this Pakistani girl was shot in the face. Shot in the face by a Taliban soldier. 11 days later, she woke up in the UK in a hospital. And this is what she said. I was actually listening to her interview, and she said, after that incident, she woke up and she was thinking to herself, I can at this point, you know, keep quiet and stop the movement about girls going to school, or I could actually use this platform to propagate my mission. And she did just that. And right now, women go to school in Pakistan. Girls go to school, they can learn. Because of that one girl that got shot on the face. Your excuses are valid, but they will literally not get you anywhere. Whenever you say, I could be somebody, but whatever comes ahead of that but It's your excuse and it will never get you anywhere. So now what? What do we do? I'll tell you what I did. I learned and trained myself to override my excuses. Not run away from them, not ignore them, face them head on, and then I would tell my excuses to excuse me. Like, you know, I know you're here, but excuse me because I'm heading somewhere. And how do we do that? I did it in 2 ways. Number one, I got myself a why. I got myself a why. Now, this why, I mean, why? This why. The why is not, it was partly, why do I want what I want? Which most of us have the answers to that. I want this because, you know, I need a car. I want a car because it's easy to move around. You know, I want a house. We all have reasons for the things that we have. But the why that I'm talking about is, why should you be the person to get that? If both me and you are requesting for a car, why should you get it and not I? Why should I get it and not you? Why do you think you qualify to get what you're actually asking for? That is the why. And you know, every time, say I would face a challenge, because I have an imaginative mind, so what I would do is that I would imagine God is asking me, Florence, are you the right person? I'm like, yeah, I am the right person, so come on, you have to give it to me. And sometimes it's like I could almost hear life tell me, prove it. I'm like, sit down, I'm about to prove you that I am the right person to get what I'm asking for. And I would get what I'm asking for. Not because I'm lucky, not because I'm pretty, and yes, I'm pretty, thank you. Not because I'm Chaga, not because I come from a family. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do because I am the person deserving of that particular thing. And you can be that person, just find your why. If you don't have one, get one. Now you can get your why just like the way I got my why. I did not sleep and wake up in the morning with a why. I trained myself to create this why and make it so real for me that whenever I would stand in front of people and say, you know what, this is why we should work together, this is why we should do this together, I would be so good that they wouldn't deny me. Now that was my why. Like the way right now you cannot, like I'm not seeing anybody on their phones, and I love that. Why? Because I'm the person standing right here. I deserve your time. I feel like I do. Why? Create your why. If you do not have one, get one. Number 2, never go to the negative zone. We all went to school and did mathematics, the worst subject ever for me. I used to suck at mathematics. I don't even know how I passed that thing. And we all did graphs, right? I'm like, this is 0, this is the negative, right? Never go to the negative zone. Here, this is where anger, hatred, bitterness, life here. I'm not good enough. Guilt, I'm too fat, I'm too black. I don't have what it takes. I come from a poor family. Here, in the negative. Let me tell you something. When life knocks you, it doesn't get you to the negative. You get you to the negative. I don't know if I'll repeat that. When life knocks you, it lands you on 0. But you are the one who gets yourself to the negative. When your mother dies, you land on 0. But you're the one who will start saying, how can I do this now? You know, my support system is gone. I don't have money. You keep going down and down and down and down the rabbit hole. And this rabbit hole, it's too deep that by the moment you realize you're there, it's going to take everything in you to get you out. Now, we've all heard of the phrase from 0 to hero. Why do you think that is? Because it's the truth. people can't go from 0 to hero. Have you ever heard from whatever this would be to hero? No. So never go to the negative zone, no matter what happens to you. Take it from me. Take it from me. I had all the reasons to go to the negative zone. I had all the reasons to be negative. I had all the reasons to be angry at life and bitter and unforgiving. But going into the negative zone is literally blinding yourself and then say, I'm trying to go from this direction to there, and I'm heading in this direction from this point to that point, and my eyes are closed. And you're hoping that you're going to get there safely, or you're even going to get there at all. You're never going to get to anywhere if your mind is full of this. So, number one, never go into the negative zone. Number two, if you're here, get yourself out of the negative zone. It will do you more harm than it's ever going to do any good to you. And by the way, there is no good that comes out of the negative zone. Now, I understand some people use that as drive, and that's okay to use that as drive, but don't use it as your why. You can say, I should be wealthy because I'm angry enough. You can say, I should be, I'm so aggressive. I'm full of hatred, and that's why I should become wealthy. No, but you can use that as your drive, but not as your why. And there is a very thin line between what drives you and who you are as a person. And most people get confused between these two. And that's where people get lost. And that's why I'm saying, don't use this. Very few people can actually use the negative as their drive and thrive. Most of us use the negative, use jealousy, and we think we're actually using it as fuel, but what it's actually doing is dragging us down. When you're busy, on your Instagram stalking that person, when you're busy on your Instagram trying to see, what they ate, what they dressed, you're the one losing your data, not them. You're the one wasting your time, not them. And so get out of this place. Shouldn't even be existing. Get out the word negative off your dictionary. Tear it apart. Shouldn't be part of your dictionary at all. So start here, from 0. And from here you can get to anywhere you want, but not the negatives. Now, can we all do that? Yes. If you learn and train your mind to use the power that is inside of you to override your excuses, leverage them, use them so that they can get you to greatness, you will be unstoppable. Now, so many people have been doing this. It will be absolutely crazy and insane of you to stand up with an excuse and say, this is the reason why after this session. One last example, my favorite. Have we heard of Isaiah Junge? Right? Yes. Isaiah Junge used his reason, and his reason most was the difficulty he faced while trying to get to university, to college. He used that as a reason to get into Forbes 30 under 30. That's number 1. And 2, get the Queen's Young Leader Award this year. That's a Tanzanian gentleman, by the way. Not talking about here, Leonardo da Vinci or something. No. A Tanzanian young man, just like you and me. Nothing different. 2 eyes, 1 beating heart, 10 fingers, 10 toes. Nothing different. He's not an angel. He's not nothing. He simply used his reason and not turned them into excuses. And now he is in Forbes 30 under 30, among the millionaires in Tanzania. 28 years old. How many of us here are under 30? Can I see your hands, please? By show of hands. Now, when you sleep tonight, I want you to ask yourself, what is the reason why you're not where you want to be? and take that reason, never turn it into an excuse. Instead, use that, leverage that to get you where you want to be. Thank you so much.